feet firmly planted down into the ground. Lift all 5 toes and then push them back down. Open across the chest. Reach the fingers down and then lift a bit taller through the chest. And notice as you lift through the chest, draw the navel to the spine, kind of pull in and support around the center of the body. So wrap the waist in from the side. Lengthen the tailbone down. Lift up through the front of the thighs. Try and lift up through the front of the hips. Reaching out through the crown of the head. Take a big breath in. And a big sigh out. Take a breath in. And a big sigh out. One more breath. And sigh out. And then place the hands onto the hips. Keep the spine nice and tall, so try not to wave forwards or backwards. See if you can just rise to the tiptoes without losing balance, control, nice and slowly. And then just as slowly as you came up, lower down towards the heels. So just work through the ankles. Keep drawing the navel in, keep reaching up through the crown of the head, just 3 or 4 times, rising to tiptoes, and then lowering down, rising to tiptoes, and then lowering down. Go one more time, rise to tiptoes. This time, hold it up there, reach the arms up to the sky. Now see if you can stay on the tiptoes, round through the upper back. So start to curl the chin into the chest. Start to roll through the upper back, and then slowly lower the heels as you fold towards the floor. In that forward fold, hold the elbows and rock from side to side. Just a couple of times, knees can be bent. Just use the weight of the upper body to open the lower body. Keep moving from side to side. Relax the head, so make sure you're not holding the weight of the head. And as you shift and rock side to side, let the heels lift, let the hamstrings lengthen and open. And then release the hands back down to the floor. Reverse, roll back up, navel to spine, curling through the middle back until you get towards the shoulders, the upper back. Take the arms up to the sky, big breath in, interlace the fingers, reach tall. Exhale, side bend to the right, stretch over. Inhale, bring it back to center. Side bend to the left and stretch over. Go once more each time. Inhale through center. Exhale over to the right. Inhale through center. Exhale over to the left. And then come back to center. Round the upper back, bring the hands forward, stretch the hands away, pull navel to spine, really open the backs of the shoulders, and then swim the arms round to the side, interlace the fingers behind the back, lift the chest, open the front of the body, lift the heart, push down into the feet, and then reverse, chin to chest. Take the arms round, open the upper back, pull the belly button in, and swim the arms back round to the side. Interlace the hands, lift the chest, open the chest, and then release. Arms down by the side, roll down through the spine. So chin in, take it all the way down to the floor. Push the hands down and step back into downward dog. Lengthen your downward facing dog out, so don't shorten it. Really extend, so push the hips high by driving the hands down into the ground, push your way through the balls of the feet, stretch back through the heels, and then maybe pedal on the spot, so don't be so strict with the movement. Sway the hips from side to side, relax, and just rock through the neck, the jaw, the shoulders. Inhale, roll forwards into a plank, just hold that plank for a moment. Keep the hands where they are. Let the toes point to the left, the heels to the right. So just twist through the middle of the back. And then take the hips all the way over to the left, toes face to the right. So a bit like a side plank, but the twist is just through the center of the body. Take the hips once more over to the right. Just shift the center line of the body, so different muscles have to work to stabilize, and then take the hips all the way over to the left. Come back to center. Take it back into downward dog. Stretch back through the heels, push down through the hands, and then come forwards onto the knees. Now take the hands down to the floor, and typically the hands and the forearms are down now, so hands and elbows. Usually when we come here, we kind of drop into the back, we stick the hips out. I want you to reverse that, so almost rounding in the back, so that this central part of the body is really strong, and it also gives you a bit more room underneath the tummy. So stretch the right leg back, reach that leg out, and then as you exhale, pull that right knee into the chest and round. So a bit like a cat-cow, but we're using that back leg and one or forearms. So inhale, look forwards. Exhale, round, pull that knee all the way into the chest. Inhale, stretch the right leg back. If it's a bit awkward because you don't quite feel like there's room underneath, just bear with it, and you've got to push into the forearms and round the upper back. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale, round. Inhale. Exhale, round. Place that right knee down. Keep active in the back of the shoulders, so pushing into the forearms and elbows. Stretch the left leg back. Inhale. Exhale, pull that left knee into the chest. Inhale, stretch that left leg back. Exhale, pull that left knee in. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, pull in. 2 more. Inhale, reach back. And exhale, pull in. Last one. Stretch that left leg away. Really reach. And then place the left knee down. Come off the elbows and the forearms. Push the hands down. Tuck the toes. Take it back to downward dog. So hips up to the sky. Head relaxed, heavy. Shake out the head and the neck. Take the left leg up towards the ceiling. Reach that left heel high. Then pull the left knee into the chest and step the left foot forwards. Lower the back knee down. So just a low lunge. Back knee down, reach the arms up to the sky. Lengthen and open through the right hip flexor. So no rushing. Just thinking about lengthening through the tailbone. Trying to make sure the shoulders aren't too close up towards the ears. Trying to lift the chest as you move into that right hip. Take a big breath in and out. Keep the navel to spine connection, tuck the back toes, and lift that back knee off the floor. So come into a high lunge. Trying to pull back through that left line of the thigh. So trying to strengthen through the left leg rather than just letting the left leg take the weight. Try and hold yourself up through that left thigh, and then slowly lower the back knee down. See if you can lift the chest higher, and then exhale, take both hands to the floor. Right hand stays where it is. Reach the left arm up to the sky and stretch open towards that left side. So twisting over to the left. Breathe in and breathe out. Open a bit more, twist a bit deeper, and kind of move around a little bit here. It doesn't have to be too static. So if you want to kind of move in and out of the hips, pulse in and out of the hips, or maybe circle that top arm, whatever you need to do just to get warm, to mobilize, to move. And then bring the left hand down, step back into downward dog. So heels stretch away, hips lift high, back of the neck neutral, nice and long, crown of the head drawing down towards the ground, hips lifting up, tailbone lifting up. Continuously trying to bring more space between the hips and the rib cage. Inhale, take the right leg towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring the right knee into the chest, step the right foot forwards, lower the back knee, point the back toes. Inhale, reach the arms up. As you reach up, pull in and up through that left hip, and then slowly move the body weight forward. Keep the breath steady. So the breath there to help us concentrate, to keep us focused, stop the mind from wandering. Think about pulling in through that right thigh. So visualize pulling that right thigh back into the body. Tuck the back toes and slowly lift the back knee off the floor. So now stretching more actively, a bit stronger through that left hip, pulling back through the right thigh. Really thinking, really focusing on what you're asking the body to do. Again, just another way for you to stay concentrated, stay focused, and then lower the back knee. Reach the arms up to the sky, another breath. And then exhale, take the hands down to the floor. This time, right arm reaches up, twist, open to the right. And you can either kind of pulse in and out of the hips if the front of that left hip is quite tight, or if the shoulders are quite tight, then maybe just draw some big circles with that right arm. Nothing needs to be strict or to be held. Kind of explore how much the body needs to move or where the body needs to move. And then take that right hand down, step back into downward dog. And make sure in your down dog that all 5 fingers are pushing down. The heel of the hand, all 5 knuckles. So you've got this really big, wide, firm base through the hands. And then chin to chest. Imagine someone's pulling a piece of string up from the back of the shoulder blades, and they're going to use that to pull you forwards into a plank position. So you're rounding the body forwards into that plank. Hold a strong line in your plank. Now, if you've got quite a strong vinyasa practice, you want to carry on and move through a vinyasa, maybe 2, whilst I break this one down, then you can. For everyone else, lower the knees, keep the hips nice and high, bend the elbows into the side and slowly lower the chest all the way down. So the chest finds the floor first, then lower the hips, point the toes, pull the shoulders back to almost lift the chest forwards, not just up, but forwards. And then exhale, let it go to the ground, tuck the toes, bend the knees. You can almost come back through a child's pose, and then the hips travel up high. I'm going to do one more. So either in your own time or follow me, chin to the chest, pulling that string out of the back of the shoulders to help you round forward. So there's a real round through that upper body. You get to your plank position, which is nice and strong. Lower the knees. Elbows come to the side. Make sure you're coming forwards, not straight down, forwards with the chest, all the way to the floor. Point the toes, pull the shoulders back, use the shoulders to lift the chest forwards. And then exhale, tuck the toes, bend the knees as if you're going to stop in child's pose, lift the hips up. And then here, just pedal out through the feet. See if that down dog feels a bit easier than it did at the start of the practice, a bit more space, more height. Inhale, take the left leg up to the ceiling. Exhale, pull that left knee into the chest and step it all the way to the top of the mat. The right toes are going to turn out on a slight diagonal. Push into both feet, reach the arms up to the sky, warrior 1. So pushing down into both feet, just make sure you're not trying to lift the shoulders up to the ears. We don't need to carry the shoulders, they can stay where they are. Now this right hip, try not to let it open too much. You want to try and bring that right hip forwards. Now in order to do so, your feet are going to have to be a little bit wider. They're not on a tightrope. You need to have space to bring that right hip forwards. Take a breath in. Breathe out. See if you can sit a little bit deeper. So there's going to be quite a stretch through that right calf. One more breath. And exhale. Now open to warrior 2. So arms come out wide. Turn the right toes to face over to the right side of the room and sit low into that left thigh. So what will want to happen is that left knee wants to come in, pull that left knee out by using the strength of the left glute. Squeeze the glutes on and see if you can sit lower. And then visualize that core sit around the center of the body. Tighten it up, so pull the drawstrings in a bit tighter. Feel the waist pull in towards the midline. Flip the left palm up to the ceiling. Reach the left arm up to the sky. The right hand can just rest for a moment on the right thigh or the right shin. Keep the depth of that left knee. Bring the left elbow towards the left knee. Sweep that right arm up and over. So reach out through those right fingertips. Now it's easy if you let that front leg start to straighten. It gets harder if you try and sit that left knee even lower. There's more opening through the thighs, the adductors, the hips. From there, come back to your warrior two. Now straighten the left leg. Walk the back foot in. Just a little, so a couple of feet. Straighten the legs, reach the left arm forward, so lengthen as much as you can. Left hand can rest on the left shin. Reach the right arm up to the sky. Now here, imagine someone stood behind you. They're going to place their hands on to your right hip and your right rib cage, and they're going to try and roll that rib cage and the hip open. So instead of letting the rib cage and the hip fold forwards, rolling the right rib cage up towards the ceiling, stretching up through those right fingertips. Take a breath in and a breath out. Carefully relax the head, look down to the top of the mat, take the hands down, and then walk them all the way over to the middle of the stance. So turn the left toes in, right toes out, bend the knees a little, let the chest rest on the thighs. So let the upper body, the belly, rest on the thighs. Take the hands behind the calves, and as you've got that contact now between the belly and the thighs, try not to let that go. See if you can straighten the legs, but keep the contact. Chin in, neck long, neutral. Pull the shoulders away from the ears, lift the hips higher, and then slowly let it go. Walk the hands underneath the face. Now we're going to walk to the back of the mat. So hands will be inside the right foot. You're going to lower the left knee all the way down to the ground, and you're looking to the back of the mat. So point the left toes, pull the chest forwards. So now you're stretching through that left hip. Push down into the right big toe. So try not to let the right foot fall out to the side. Take a breath here. And exhale. Breathe in. And breathe out. One more breath. And exhale, tuck the back toes. Lift the left knee off the floor. Walk the hands all the way back to the top of the mat. Keep the right hand down. Stretch the left arm up. Twist for 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale, twist 1. Inhale. Twist deeper for 2. Inhale, breath. And 3. Bring that left hand down to the floor. Step back into your down dog. A long downward dog, so reach the heels back. Push the arms down. Think about lengthening the arms. Right side. Right leg up towards the sky. Pull the right knee into the chest. Step the right foot forwards. On a slight angle, the left toes turn out. The left heel pushes down. Reach the arms up to the sky. So lift through the chest. And just glance down. Make sure you're not under tightrope, but instead you've got some space to bring that left hip forwards. And then reach the arms up to the sky. Arms, not the shoulders. So they soften down. Try and lift from the chest. Try and pull the navel in. As you do so, you'll feel the stretch through the left thigh get more intense because you're pulling the hip flexor. Hip flexor is attached to the lower back and they make up some of the deep muscles of the core. So as you pull them in, you open that left thigh. Take one more breath. And then open to warrior two. Stretch your warrior two out. Reach across the fingers. Sit low into that right thigh. So don't let the right knee come in. Sit down in that right thigh. Tightening up around the waist. Drawing that corset of strength in. Flip the right palm. Inhale, reach right arm up to the sky. Left hand rests on the left leg. And then right elbow comes forwards, take it to the thigh, left arm up and over. So stay there for a moment. Challenge yourself, lower in that right thigh. Remember, if it starts to straighten, it makes it easier, but we want to work that right thigh, really warm the body up. And then bring it back to warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Bring the back foot in a little. Hinge at that right hip this time. So reach that right hip forwards. And the worst thing we start to do is round in, but we want to lengthen first. So lengthen, 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 and then the right hand down. Left arm up to the sky. Look to the left fingers. And then again, imagine someone's behind you. They're going to place a hand on the left hip, a hand on the rib cage, and they're going to roll your rib cage and your hip open to the ceiling. So if it starts to fall in and forwards, imagine someone's pulling it back up towards the ceiling. Take a breath in and then out. Look to the right foot. Take the left hand down. Walk the hands towards the left long side of the mat. Turn the toes in. Shift the heels out. Again, bend the knees. Belly makes contact with the thighs. And then this time, as you inhale, push into the hands, straighten the legs, reach out through the crown of the head. Exhale, fold deeper, knees can bend and soften. Inhale, straighten the legs, reach the crown of the head forwards over to the left side of the room. Exhale, fold it down. One more breath in. And breath out. Walk the hands all the way to the back of the mat. So now they're inside the left foot. Lower the back knee. Lift the chest forwards. Pull the chest forward. So pull out through the crown of the head. Lengthen the tailbone down. Stretch and open through that right hip. Take a breath in and out. Breath in and out. Tuck the back toes. Walk it all the way around to the top of the mat. So you're facing the top of the mat, the front of the room. Keep the left hand down and we're reaching up for 3 breaths, twisting to the right. Breath in. Twist deeper, breath out. Breath in. And out. When you're ready, that right hand can come down. Take the right leg to the back of the mat to your down dog. Your choice. So your own vinyasa, or roll forwards to a plank, follow my counts, rest the knees. Bend the elbows, they've got to come to the waist as the chest goes forwards and down. So it's a lot of strength through the shoulders. Point the toes, pull the shoulder blades back. Don't use the hands, use the shoulders. Pull to lift, and then exhale, soften. Sit back into a child's pose, reach the hips back, lengthen the arms forwards, rest the forehead, and just take a few breaths there. So soften through the shoulders, relax across the back of the shoulders, and just breathe nice and deep. Try and relax through the grip, through the hands, the wrists. Make sure you're not tense or clenching in the jaw. Breathing in and breathing out. Maybe take a big breath in through the nose and then a big full sigh out through the mouth. Come forwards, push into the hands, rise up to all fours, so you're on hands and knees. Tuck the toes and take it back into down dog. So navel pulls to spine, supports you, lifts you up. You're going to take the left leg up to the sky, reaching that left heel high. Bring the left knee into the chest, step the left foot forwards, reach up to a high lunge. So back knee stays lifted. You're on the ball of the back foot. We're going to move through a few balances. So just center yourself, pull the waist in, soften the shoulders down, relax the expression in the face. Bring the hands into prayer. And then tilt the body weight forwards so we start to load and strengthen that left leg. And then tilt forwards a little bit more so that the right toes start to lift off the ground and we're balancing on that left leg. Doesn't matter how far you come forwards or how high that back leg goes. See if you can fix your gaze down to the mat, directly down towards the floor. From there, push into the left foot, bring the right knee all the way into the chest, lift that right knee in, take the left hand to the outside of the right knee, and then slowly reach the right hand back. So there's a twist across the chest, pull the navel in, and then twist a bit deeper. Pull the navel in, and then twist a bit deeper. One more breath. And relax. Come back to center, hands into prayer. Right foot, if you can, without breaking and taking it to the floor, place the right foot inside of the left shin for tree. You can bring it all the way up if you like, but you don't need to. You can just step it on the inside of the shin. You're still balancing. Push down into that left foot. Just imagine someone's taking a piece of hair out of the very crown of the head, and like a little reminder, they're just going to lift you tall. Pull the shoulders back. Push down into that left standing foot. Breathe in. And then breathe out. So the left leg will be starting to tire, but just bring that right knee into the chest. See if we can close the sequence the same way we came in. Tilt the body forwards. Kick the right leg back. Stretch that right heel away. And then without a sound, take the right toes to the back of the mat and reach the arms up to the sky. Big inhale. Exhale, take the hands all the way down to the floor and step back into downward dog. Stretch it out. Push into the hands, lift those hips. Other side, so take the right leg towards the ceiling. Bring the right knee into the chest, step the right foot forwards. Keep the back knee lifted, stay on the left toes. Inhale, high lunge, reaching up. So you're pulling the navel in, keeping that breath steady. So we're not holding the breath or ever having to force the breath. That's our continuous, steady breath. So that it keeps the heart rate nice and steady, keeps the nervous system settled. Bring the hands into prayer and then start to load the body forward so we feel the work through that right thigh. We keep shifting forwards until eventually there's that much body weight in the right foot that the left leg lifts. We stretch that left leg back as we stretch the crown of the head forwards. So we're lifting up through the outside of that right thigh, looking down to the floor, and then slowly bringing that left knee all the way in. If you can without breaking, if not, just pick it back up, join in. Right hand outside the left thigh, twisting open to the left side of the room. Stay tall, open the chest, reach the left fingertips back. Use the abdominals to help you twist. So as you pull them towards the spine, you make more space, and then exhale and twist. Come back to center, hands into prayer. Left foot inside of the right shin, just for a brief tree. That swift reminder just to pull up through the crown of the head. Lift yourself up. Stand tall so you're not heavy down into that right foot, but instead you're lifting away from the ground. And then the left knee comes back into the chest. Very briefly tilt the body forwards. Lead back with that left heel. So stretch the left heel back. Slowly the toes find the floor. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky, big breath in. Exhale, take the hands down to the ground, big breath out. Step back into downward dog, pushing the hips up towards the ceiling. And then roll forwards into a plank. Rest the knees down to the ground. And then you're going to keep the left knee where it is for a moment. Take the right leg back. And then you might need that left knee to go a little bit further back. So there's a bit more space between the left hand and the left knee. Reach the right arm up to the sky. Slowly lower the left hip towards the ground. And then use the left side of the waist to pull yourself back up. So right arm reaches up so it stays up there. Slowly lower the left hip. And then use the side of the waist to pull all the way back up. One more, so slowly lower down. And then lift that bottom hip. Hold this one for 3. Squeeze the glutes for 2. And then 1, slowly the right hand comes down. Lower the right knee. Switch over to the other side. And just see, because if that right knee is too close, if it's here, there's kind of nowhere to go. You've not got enough space to bring the hip down. So you need it to actually be a bit further away so that when you lower that right hip, you've got some space. And then you push into the hands, squeeze that right side of the waist. 3 more, lower and lift. Lower and lift. 1 more, lower and lift. Bring both hands down. Take both knees down, knees out wide, toes together. Stretch back into a child's pose. So push the hips back and try and pull the fingers forwards and then completely soften through the shoulders. Just rock the forehead side to side. Massage across the top of the forehead. Shake it out, release it out. And then come back. So you come onto all fours. I'll talk you through this and obviously demonstrate. It's a bit more Pilates really, but it's just good to counterbalance the like balancing support work we've done just for the outside of the hips, and we'll add a bit of a balance into it. So you're going to come down onto forearms like we did at the start of the class. Remember to slightly round the back rather than dip. We don't want this curl. We want to pull the belly in and make sure the back is nice and flat. So you might actually feel like you're rounding. You probably won't be. It'll probably just be straight. So then keep the weight on the forearms and the left knee. Stretch the right leg back. The toes pull back to the face. So it's my right heel that's kicking for the back wall. Keep the spine as it is. Keep the navel pulling in. And then we're just going to lower the right leg. Right toes tap the floor and bring it back up. So just keep doing that. So lower and tap and bring it back up. You don't even need to take it all the way round, all the way down, sorry. You just want to find some work into the back of the right thigh and the back of the right hip, but trying your best to keep the rest of the body still. So that movement isn't coming from the middle of the back, it's coming from the right hip. Go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and on 1, hold that leg there. Now bring yourself onto the right fingertips, so the right hand is out to the side, so just shift your balance a bit. Bring the left hand across the mat, so now you're more stable through that left arm. Open the right hip to the side, so if you can imagine now my pelvis is facing over to the right, still using my right hand for support. And now the same thing, but we're lifting that leg up, so the work is going to be on the outside of the right hip. So keep the leg straight, keep the toes pulling back, right hand supports you. Lift the left waist as well, so try not to let the left waist collapse. I'm going to go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then hold that there really briefly, because it's quite a hard balance. See if you can lift that right arm up, so really challenging the left hip and the left side of the waist. Doesn't matter if you fall, but if you don't give it a go, then you don't improve. And slowly come down. Just sit back to the knees, stretch that out into a child's pose. Shake the hips a bit if you like. We're going to go the other side. So come forwards, back to all fours, drop to the elbows again. Remind yourself not to collapse. So almost puff up the back of the body, pull the front of the body in. We stay down on the right knee, step the left toes back, left heel reaching away. Lift the left heel, squeeze the back glute and pull it down and keep going. Now just behind me there's a door, and it's the door Millie uses to get into the house. She keeps coming and like pouring at it, like, let me back in. She's locked out in the garden. Okay, so just reaching that left heel away. Should start to feel it in the back of the left glute and the left hamstring. Go for another 5, and 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Hold that up. Left hand comes out to the side to offer some support. Right hand comes across towards the left hand, towards the left side of the mat. Open the hips to the left. So now my pelvis faces the left side of the room, and I'm lowering the left leg and then lifting it up. So my left toes are facing out to the left side of the room, and I'm working the small muscles that support the outside of the left hip. So the muscles that hold the hip out, prevent the hip rolling in and causing like the first signs of arthritis. In some people, it's a weakness in the outside of the glute most of the time. Go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring both knees down. Take the hands to the floor. Push the hips up to the sky. Stretch into down dog. Roll forwards into a plank. Lower the knees. Point the toes, and this time just move the hips down as you lift the chest forward. So find the pull back through the shoulders. Reach the crown of the head up. Try and keep the neck neutral, so try not to gaze to the ceiling. Try and just look out ahead of you. And then lower it all the way down to the ground. Hands to the top of the mat, rest the forehead. Zip the legs together, point the toes. Keep the hands super glued to one another, super glued to the forehead. Lift the hands, lift the forehead. Now lift the feet. So you're lifting the whole body, balancing on the hips, the front of the body. See if you can lift the feet higher, lift the forehead higher, hold it for 3, strengthen for 2, and 1. Slowly let it go. Hands to the floor, tuck the toes, take it back to downward dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Take a big step, right foot all the way to the outside of the right hand. Lower that back knee down, and it's up to you. You can either just reach that right arm up to the sky to stretch. If you want to, the right hand can push the right thigh away. Or if you want to, you can bend the back knee, reach for that back foot. Or you might want to, this is a funny one to explain, but I quite like the feeling around the hip. So my bottom hip now, my pelvis is facing down towards the mat. I'm almost going to roll, so my pelvis faces over to the left. So I'm actually like rolling onto the side of that left hip. So it gets ITB a little bit on the outside of the right hip and a little bit on the outside of the left hip. And then slowly bring it down. Step back into downward dog. We'll take the left leg to the outside of the left hand. Start by lowering the back knee. First variation is just a twist and reach. Second option would be to push the left knee away. Third option, to reach for the back foot. And second option, to roll, instead of being on the front of my right thigh, to be on the outside of the right thigh, so it stretches the side of the waist. When people go back to yoga classes after all this online stuff, there's probably going to have been loads of people doing some crazy stuff at home. It was like nothing what I was trying to demonstrate. So if anyone looks at you really funny, like, where the hell have you got that from? Just lie. And then bring the left hand back. Step back to downward dog. Stretch it out. Look towards the top of the mat. Walk the feet forwards. And just come and take a seat. So just sit down. Have the feet a nice distance away from the hips so you can sit tall. And then just holding onto the front of the shins, roll the spine back. So not too far. You're just sending the tailbone under, holding that position. Now bring the hands away from the knees. Keep that curl through the lower back. So our spine doesn't move, my pelvis doesn't move. I'm just going to extend from the right knee and point the toes. So I keep holding that rounded position, constantly pulling the belly button in. And then without any movement anywhere else in the body, I'm going to place the right foot down and extend the left leg. The center of the body stays really still, really stable. Lower the left leg. Go once more each side. So extend through that right side. Bring it down. Extend through that left side and bring it down. Now see if you can hold the body perfectly still. Bring both toes off the floor. See where you get to, extending both legs. Pull the belly in. Hold it for 3, 2, 1. Lower the feet and take it all the way down. Hug the knees into the chest. Just give a gentle rock, shift, wriggle it out side to side. And then take the arms down by the side, flat to the floor. Point the toes up towards the ceiling. Pull the belly button in. Take the right toes away. You're lowering them almost to the ground. But when you think you're about an inch off the floor, you're just going to hold there. Pull the belly button in. Keep both legs as long as is possible. So point the toes, really reach. And then slowly bring that right leg in. And with control, carefully take that left leg out. So really opening through that left hip, but a really active long stretch through the left hip, rather than as just sinking and opening. We're stretching and strengthening, bring it back. We'll go once more each time. So extend, take the right leg away. See if you can reach the right toes even further for 3, 2, 1. Bring it back in. And to the left, extend away. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Bring it back in. Plant the feet to the floor. Keep pushing the hands down. Pull the belly button to the spine. Lift the hips and push into the feet. Push into all 5 toes. Squeeze the glutes. Pull the belly button back towards the spine. If you want to, you can interlace the hands. Reach the hands to the feet. And maybe bring the shoulders a bit closer together. If you're doing that though, just make sure you don't just stick the rib cage and the belly up towards the ceiling. Try and keep that central part of the body pulling down rather than just pushing and overstretching. Release the hands. Carefully roll the spine all the way down to the ground. Rest the hands to the front of the body. Bring the feet closer together. Take the knees out to the side. And just take 3 big breaths. So a full inhale. And everything you've got, sigh out. A full inhale. And everything you've got, let it go. 1 more breath in. And let everything out. Just lie in complete stillness. If this isn't comfortable at your hips, your pelvis, or your knees, then please extend the legs out. You want to lie somewhere where there's no sensation of tension, of overstrain, of irritation, somewhere you can be completely still, completely relaxed, somewhere the chest is open, somewhere the back of the head is nice and supported. Making sure there's an absence of expression through the forehead, around the eyes, the softness to the jaw, maybe just a gentle smile. Notice the lightness that smile brings to the face. Softness it brings around the eyes. And then with the hands on the body, as you charge the breath up a little, so just start to turn the volume of the breath up. Just notice that movement underneath the hands. Notice the space change underneath the hands. Notice the lungs, the rib cage react, move, expand. And then instead of holding onto the front of the belly, take the hands down to the outside of the thighs. Pull the thighs and the knees into the chest. Give yourself a good hug. So just squeeze the knees in. You can pull the body up slightly. And then without too much fuss, if you can, keep the eyes closed, rock up, find a seated position. So just place the hands on the knees, sit nice and tall, pull the shoulders back and down. We did quite a bit of work into the side of the waist, so feel there's a bit more support there through the side of the waist. See if you can lift taller, pull the shoulders back more, open the side of the neck. And remember, you've got that little reminder for when you feel yourself slumping, just to pull up through the crown of the head. Take the arms up towards the ceiling, take a big full breath in, and bring the hands into prayer heart center as you exhale that breath out. Bow the chin into the chest. And just thank yourself for giving up time to practice this Sunday, this morning. Namaste.